America's beverage companies are investing in America. We're American companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns. We're local bottlers and manufacturers, operating in all 50 states, employing more than 275,000 Americans in good-paying jobs, delivering for the nation, because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great. Learn more at WeDeliverForAmerica.org. Paid for by the American Beverage Association.
Missing out on family time because of all the noise? Enjoy the moment without straining to keep up with the conversation.
Wow, what a beautiful sunset.
Discover Nuance Audio, the new invisible hearing solution that's built into your glasses. Discreet, comfortable, and easy to use. Nuance Audio glasses help you hear better and reduce background noise, so you can get back to enjoying time with your loved ones. Find a store near you at nuanceaudio.com.
Welcome to Farm Here Daily, a Field Forward podcast. I'm David Geiger, your host. I've been on Iowa TV and radio for the last decade, and I am excited to join you on this podcast, Farm Here Daily. Today on the program, a glimpse at the drought in Iowa with state climatologist Justin Glisan. Then we chat about the latest ethanol mandates with some corn growers in Missouri. Please be sure to like and follow this podcast. Make sure to send it over to your friends as well. Check out our social media at Field Forward Pod. We would love to have you all join our community, making sure folks are informed about what's affecting our farmers. This is Farm Here Daily. And joining us on Farm Here Daily, we have state climatologist Justin Glisan here in the state of Iowa. Justin, always glad to be chatting with you. Although we've been a bit drier than usual, and I wanted to jump right into that because June is supposed to be our wettest month. How's that been tracking so far?
Yep, so great to be back with you, David. You think of May and June as our two wettest months climatologically. We were drier in May across the state, about the 64th driest out of 153 years of record. So not extremely dry, but drier nonetheless. Thinking back to last May, the 8th wettest May on record, which really quashed the 4-year drought that we had around this time last year. So looking at June, across the state, we're running about 85% of normal, so about 0.4 of an inch below average. We do have some surpluses. You look at the northwest and north central part of the state, they're running anywhere from 120 to 140% of normal. So we've seen an uptick in severe weather. We've seen some hail and high wind events, damage to some corn and beans, particularly in that northwest and north central part of the state. Driest part of the state still remains portions of eastern Iowa and then southwest to south central. And that's where we do see pockets of drought on the U.S. Drought Monitor.
When we are looking at that weather-related problem, we've also noted some other issues in some of our rivers and waterways in terms of nitrate levels. Can you tell a little bit about how the weather impacts that?
Yeah, so one of the events that we look at is 2013. We had very high nitrate levels in central Iowa running into the Des Moines Waterworks. So this came after the 2011 to 2013 drought. 3 years of drought, you have nitrate available in the soil along with other organic compounds. And it just sits there because there's no water to activate it during an extended drought. So then you get the wettest May in 141 years and then the wettest spring in 141 years. That produces a flush event, and that's where we get high levels, at that time record levels, in our inland rivers. So thinking back to last year, 4 years of drought, the longest drought since the 1950s, not as pervasive or as intense as that 2012 drought, but still widespread, 204 weeks of moderate drought somewhere in the state. Again, the longest drought since the 1950s. And then we move into the 9th wettest start through June in 2024 with the record amount of severe weather that we saw last year, 131 tornadoes, hail, wind events. Of course, lots of rainfall. Again, the 8th wettest May on record. So when you have these wet flush events, that's where you see more nitrates in the water. This year, it's a little more complex. We are still in a drier pattern to start the year. We do have precipitation deficits across the state, versus where we were last year at this time. So we have had some recent dryness, but also an uptick in severe weather in June. We did not record a tornado in May, the first May without a tornado since 2010. So with an uptick in higher precipitation events, higher intensity rainfall events, we of course get more flush events, and that's where we're seeing the nitrate problem returning. Now, again, I mentioned it's more complex. We're not really sure, I think, on all of the factors that are going into it. But when we look at the large-scale meteorological and climate setup, it does happen with drier periods during drought, and then you get an epic flush event. So we haven't seen that epic flush event this year, but we have had recent dryness coupled with recent higher intensity rainfall events, and that's where I think we're getting into some problems.
Justin, as we scoot forward into the rest of the month, there's still about 2 weeks left of June. How much more rainfall would we need to have normal Iowa rainfall pace?
Yeah, great question, David. So if we're looking across the state, the driest parts of the state, we're running about, let's say, 50 to 60% of normal. So what we would need to catch up for the month of June, and that's beside the deficits that we've had since January, anywhere from 3 to 4 inches in the driest parts of the state. Now, in the wetter parts of the state, generally about an inch or 2 to 2.5 inches would catch us up as well. So if you look at the 7-day forecast, what we call the quantitative precipitation forecast, that gives us the summation of what our forecast models are showing. Anywhere across the state, we're expecting at least 1.25 inches up to 2.5, possibly 3 inches if you get stuck under a thunderstorm. So we're well suited to chip away at those deficits that we've had in June, but we do need to remain in an active pattern to catch up the driest parts of the state, basically southwest, south central, and eastern Iowa.
Then what does this future forecast hold? What are some of the expectations that our weather models are showing?
Yep. So if we look at the outlooks, 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day that get us through the end of June, we are seeing a warm signal. We're going to get into the 90s towards the weekend, the highest temperatures that we've seen so far for a wide part of the state. But also a wet pattern is still prevailing in those outlooks. So when you have warm and wet, means more thunderstorms. June is one of the most active severe weather months for us. We're not seeing a signal for severe weather in the 8-day Storm Prediction Center convective outlooks, but we are seeing chances of severe weather today, a slight risk. But when you look at those outlooks in the bridge QPF over the next 7 days out through the end of the month, it's definitely a great signal to see wetter conditions possible.
Last question, Justin, before I let you go. Just want to catch up. I always like to see what's going on the worldwide weather model when it comes to what types of trends we're seeing. Any changes in some of those international North-South America models?
Yep. So you look at the teleconnections that we talk about, El Nino, La Nina, what phase we're in. As we're sitting right now, we're in ENSO neutral, so right in the middle, neutral conditions, meaning near normal sea surface temperatures in the equatorial Pacific that impacts the phase of El Nino or La Nina. So when we're in neutral conditions, really no correlation for summertime behavior. El Nino, La Nina as well because of thunderstorm-driven nature. Now, we do see in the latest Climate Prediction Center outlooks that we've extended the probability of neutral conditions holding through fall. And when they hold through fall, this could have implications on temperature and precipitation behavior, but we still need to see the amount of soil moisture that we pick up in summertime and other factors such as precipitation surpluses or deficits to give us a better idea of what those seasonal outlooks are showing. As of right now, the summer outlooks, June, July, and August, meteorological summer, are showing slightly drier chances in western Iowa and then warmer chances overall for the United States and including Iowa. But again, the initial June outlooks weren't showing as an active weather pattern as we've seen in the first half of the month. So again, we'll need some more iterations of those climate and forecast models to give us a better idea of where we're moving to as we get into late summer and early fall.
Justin Glisan, the Iowa State Climatologist. Really appreciate having you here on Farm Here Daily.
Always a pleasure, David.
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Thanks, Justin. This is Farm Here Daily. We will have more conversations on the way, but let's take a look at the marketplace now. The Tuesday market close, mostly in the green except for July corn, which was down 3 1/4 cents, 431.5. September is up 4 cents, 423 3/4. Soybeans in July 4 1/4 cents more at 10.74. August up 4 1/2 at 10.76 1/4. Soybean meal in July $1.40 a ton, in the green at $285.10 a ton. Wheat in July 12 1/2 cents more at 5.49, with September rising 13 1/4 at 5.65 1/2. In livestock market close for Tuesday, red across the board there. June live cattle down $4 a hundredweight at $223.02. August falling $5.20 a hundredweight at $210.35. Feeder cattle in August $7.22 a hundredweight weaker at $303 even, with September falling $7.05 at $302.52 a hundredweight. Lean hogs in July down 15 cents a hundredweight at $111.65, with August down 97 cents at $111.70 a hundredweight. That is the Tuesday market close. You are listening to Farm Here Daily.
It's a real privilege to be able to travel and to see different places, taking yourself out of comfortable positions and challenging yourself.
No one builds a legacy by standing still. Start your journey at remova.com.
Well, a big announcement was made just this last week. Bradley Schad, CEO of the Missouri Corn Growers Association, joins us to talk about that. Thank you so much for your time, and can you give us an overview of the announcement?
Yeah, it was actually a big win, and we're very excited that the EPA and this administration did their job in producing 15 billion gallons of corn-based ethanol, putting that in the rulemaking, making sure that corn farmers, they can expect a consistent domestic demand from corn and corn-based ethanol, as the Trump administration said earlier in the year, brings a layer of security to the marketing this year's crop, knowing how much that we're going to need for the following year. At minimum, it sets the floor for corn growers across the nation. We're very excited about it. Just it's the biggest one we've ever had. It addresses a lot of concerns as well that we, have with back whenever Trump was in the first time. The small refinery exemptions caused some concern, and they've addressed that now as well. So we're excited and ready to move forward in producing with America's top crop a cleaner burning renewable fuel made here in the United States.
Let's dial down to Missouri specifically. What do the corn growers and ethanol producers here benefit from this announcement?
Well, I think ultimately, the consistent demand and a solid foundation that we can build on and produce more ethanol for the consumers that are needing it. A local, better price, producing jobs here at home helps build the community around the ethanol plants and builds a tax base for the state to continue producing a great renewable American fuel. Specifics matter when things come out, and as I mentioned, the small refinery exemptions is pretty important, and it could be detrimental. But what the EPA has said is that they're going to reallocate those to the other obligated parties, and we're going to make sure to hold the administration's feet to fire, make sure that happens, that we don't have any lost gallons that they can wiggle out of. We want to make sure that consumers have the ability to purchase a better quality, lower cost fuel. As we're right in the middle of driving season right now, people going on vacation. Ethanol helps drive down that cost of fuel to consumers because it's a high octane fuel that betters the economy, betters the environment, and just helps the economy out.
Talking about RVOs, you have to mention small refinery exemptions, which have been a problem for farmers for the past couple of years. Is there any concern of that or other options within this proposal?
What they stated is that they're going to reallocate those, and that is a huge concern that was taken off the table. If they're going to reallocate them, there is no concern there. It makes the obligated parties have to continue to blend at those higher levels, and we're excited about that. That gives the opportunity to produce more fuel, more distillers grains, and also helping out in the livestock facilities or livestock facilities that slaughterhouses. They use that CO2 to help euthanize, but also help keep the beef cold where it can get to consumers using local channels and bringing that local beef right here to the consumers that want it.
As a final note on those consumers, we are in the middle of the summer driving season. What does this mean for just drivers?
Well, it's exciting for them because it's a lower cost fuel. As we're seeing driving tick up, we can expect a lower cost of fuel, especially whenever you consider year-round E15 that the administration gave to us, and making sure that we have that for this year. We're still pushing and making sure that we have the ability for future years, because it hasn't been passed legislatively, but we're looking at all avenues to try and make that happen. But we're also looking forward to pushing forward an octane standard across the nation that will help benefit consumers and help the auto industry meet CAFE standard and break down the barrier of any higher ethanol blends for the future, that we can compete on the open market and be fair whenever we're looking forward. That's why we did all the work previously on the flex fuels and trying to bring those back, the Flex Fuel Fairness Act. We're working on that to make sure that brings more opportunity for consumers to use a better quality, high octane, fuel efficient vehicle in the future. Ultimately, we're just breaking down the barriers for additional ethanol blends and giving more choices at the pump.
Bradley Schad, CEO of the Missouri Corn Growers Association, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Bradley. This is Farm Here Daily, a Field Forward podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Again, in order to continue to produce this type of local content, we would love to have you join our community, so please follow the podcast. Check out our social media channels at Field Forward Pod. Additionally, you can find me on social media at Geiger Reports, as well as WHO TV Channel 13 every weekday in their morning and noon hour programs. Again, I am your host, David Geiger, and I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody.